when you talk about a lot of the paradigms between Eastern and Western philosophies and meditation, Eastern tends to be a lot about letting go. And first, you have to let go of everything in order to, and maybe what you're saying, align. But it seems that there is definitely another way of you could just tap in, and then by tapping in, you you've kind of dropped everything already.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're pointing to, which is really very powerful, right? There's a natural implication of the principles that when you are aligned, thought naturally would fall away. Like, for instance, an analogy a lot of times that people give is flat earth thinking. Actually, no, we won't talk about the flat earth thinking. We'll talk about, I should really research this better so I'm saying the examples more properly and appropriately, but back in the before the invention of germs, right? Before, I shouldn't say germs always existed. Before there was an awareness of germs, right? There was something called childbed fever, and women were dying. There were hospitals and they were having surgeries and childbirth, and people were dying left and right. Like 50% of the people, 40% of the people were dying, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And at a certain point, I'm not getting all the details 100%, but at a certain point, there were all these reasons and excuses that they were coming up with. Maybe it was the environment, maybe it was the weather, maybe it was the temperature, maybe it was where the people were before, like there was all these different reasons that people were coming up with why were these women dying in childbirth. And at a certain point, I'm blanking on his name, he realized the concept of germs, and they started washing their hands. Once they would finish with the surgery, they would wash their hands before they would go and deliver babies. And the amount of people that were dying, like, drastically changed. So they started waking up to, oh my gosh, there's germs. That's why people were dying. And now they knew what to do about it and how to sterilize and all of that, right? Now, what does it mean, the implications of the principles, that thought would fall away rather than needing to work on letting it go, right? So the minute I know that germs is the cause of childbed fever, do I have to figure out how to stop thinking it's the environment or it's the nature or it's what they did before they got to the hospital? Like, I don't have to work on changing that or letting it go. It just falls away in the face of its germs, in the face of the truth, right? So that's like a natural implication, which is very different than figure out how to, like, let it go. I don't know how to let thought go. I know that thought naturally goes, that the system is designed, that it's definitely naturally going, but I don't know how to do letting go. But I see that when I'm aligned with the truth, like, so for instance, if I'm in a fight with my husband, which doesn't happen that often, but if I was in a fight with my husband and I was stuck in blaming him, like I'm so upset right now because of what you did. I can't believe you didn't do what I asked you to do. I can't believe you spoke to me that way. I can't believe that you didn't show up like you were supposed to show up, whatever it might have been, right? And I'm caught in, I can even feel it, right? As I'm talking about it, right? Thinking you're the cause of my experience. I'm gonna, like, get a lot more thinking in that direction, and I probably will bring up every past misdemeanor you ever had. By the time I'm done, I'm so angry with you because you're causing me this pain. The moment someone wakes up to, like, wait a minute, it's not logical. The system isn't designed that way. You don't have that much power. I can only be feeling hurt or upset or frustrated because of thought in the moment. Once I start looking in that direction, not intellectually, I can't, like, be like, I know it's my thinking, but, the minute I say but, it means I didn't really know it was my thinking. But when it's revealed to me, when I insightfully am like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, I'm looking in the wrong direction. Like, you're not responsible for why I'm so upset right now. And the moment I hit and I'm reminded, oh my gosh, my thinking is the only cause for ever feeling that way, I don't really have to work so much to disregard all the different thoughts I already had about you. Let me get rid of them one by one and chip them away. It's like they just fall away. You're not my... And then when I kind of point back to the source, there's that sense of going back to trusting the design of the system. It's designed to reset itself when I kind of let it. whether that, and I don't know how to do that either. You know, for me, sometimes it shows up as like I just kind of wait for the intensity of thought or feeling or emotion to kind of pass through, and have experimented enough to see it always does. What feels like is going to last forever, eventually the intensity and frequency passes, and when it does, something else shows up. And when I start trusting that system, when I start trusting that that's really what's going on, it comes to me more often. It's revealed to me more often. The insight shows up more often, like, oh, right, I'm looking in the wrong direction. I'm blaming something from my experience that is not the cause. Well, once I kind of straighten up and look in the right direction, the job kind of does it itself.
That's awesome.
She's so good to have here because she just smiles and she's just like, yes, and she makes you feel like, yeah, you sound like you know what you're talking about. Who knows if I'm saying anything clear?
I think I'm gonna hire you. Like,
Seriously.
oh my gosh. I would like to go back into that thought you were just talking about, but talk from the perspective of a common feeling that you always get that people resonate with. They're like, give me the example. You know that feeling when you just have this that maybe a lot of your clients describe to you? Mm-hmm. That's something when they're watching this video, they're like, oh my God, yes. Like, I think you're doing that already a lot, but like, be a little more specific.
Okay.
And also, it wouldn't be bad to start off the video by saying, well, you know the feeling when, because we could get that.